Chapter 6, Victim Mode. Delete it. Don't feed it. Heal it and then let it go for good. Feeding into any horrific thing in your mind, when you go into the victim mode, it's hard to grow in victim mode, giving your control away. So, no thank you, we say. The things we think and feel will make real over and over to heal, then head out of that state of being, that state of mind. Fill it out to heal it out, but then cut ties to returning and don't go back, as in keep repeating the story to others and in your mind, etc. so on. Stay out of the poor me syndrome as much as possible, no matter what no longer serves you. The victim mode being treated are not treated how they could have done more of something. Whatever the case may be, stop right there. Look at yourself now and think what you can do more of to all that's you realize. It's inside you and you think you need to do more for yourself by letting shit go. And you, sometimes, not all the time, your soul is screaming out and it's shown to you through your emotions. However, during your emotional journey, you've also put some not so good feeling and vibrations that you could feel the repercussions of, just due to the fact that vibrations out there already. So it's like a text you already sent. Say you're mad or upset, and even though you might have worked through your emotions out already, that text has already been sent, and now you got to deal. It's basically meaning, let's say you've had a certain image, or you've had a certain just something that you're dealing with and that you're going through, and maybe you have some negative thoughts about another person. Basically, that energy is already out there. So even if you deal with that and realize what that was for you, that energy field is still out in there. So even though you've kind of already dealt with it, you may still have to kind of not necessarily do anything, but just kind of understand that maybe still that energy field is still working its way out. When the person whom you've had not so much good feelings toward and about ends up being a reaction that could strike a chord trigger in you, stop and go on, shoot, this is what I've put out. So just say, whoopsie, not to person, just to self. Just know that regardless if you yourself have already worked through the the other person will feel the vibrations of it and may respond to you at first with that vibration. Going through, the best thing is to never react to it. I'd say to self, this too shall pass. I've also experienced this on both ends, our sides. I've been the person on both ends, just like you probably have, I'm sure, as well as the reader. we all have, I'm sure of it. How have you ever been talking or thinking about someone in a not so good way, or even in a good way, a crush, etc., and then straggly that person treats you differently as if they know, even though you know that couldn't know due to you haven't told anybody, or due to the fact that you know the person hasn't told them. You may even swore they have cameras or something. They know, just not the way you think that they do. At first they won't know. Now I can read minus and or vibrations, even to the point of realizing things from way back in the day. And I know when I played, I know when I played in another life and whom my husband had. I know that in this life we just wanted to be together with our kids and family. And I don't share that in this who we were. We had a lot of carryover vibrations into this life. Unresolved feelings maybe are an unresolved life due to we were both killed in our last lives. Let's get back on track to the consequences, good and bad. Whatever we choose to focus on and put our time, thought, and energy into will grow, whether good or bad. If you focus and feel into a lax state, then guess what? Well, but if you can somehow focus on nothing but abundancy vibrations, that's going to take some work, but that's well worth it for all your lifetimes. You master into this lifetime our dimension will help you and others like a wildfire because we're all connected subconsciously. And that's why there's really no secret in your head. Yes, they're public knowledge to every human on the planet and all infinite intelligence. God and the party is present in our lives. God and the entire party is present in our lives. Basically, everything that we think and feel is everybody has access to that because we're all connected as one. Chapter multi-universes in all your lives and playing out. Okay, so let's just say we get more than one life and we've been getting data and sharing it with all of them and God, etc. so on. Also, we're living them all out at the same time. That's how we can share the data with our past, present, and future selves and or selves, kind of like social media. That may also be running around or could be your best friend, whatever could. We not only be living in other lifetimes, but could we all possibly be playing more roles in the same lifetime as in the one that we're in? We're multi-universal beings, so why couldn't we? For instance, when my sister-in-law and I first met each other, we were close right at the gate, and we were walking to the store laughing and such. She just mentioned that she wished I was younger version of me. That moment in time, I felt like I somehow, some way wished that I could do that for her. Could have in that moment, we both manifested me playing out her daughter and another character. Absolutely. Also, was it already written in the stars, and this was a way for a free will to step in and also choose it again? Could there have been areas safe for double checking within that? Could she also be my mom playing yet another version of my brother? Just another version of my dad, here to replay out the original roles they were meant to, as in our soul contracts didn't pan out, so got a redo. But at that same time, do you also get to choose, as in your free will again, until we get it right on the soul contracts, or until we decide, okay, this is done, I choose to be done with this, or even recheck in, perhaps through my journey on an upset emotional afternoon, I may have said I choose different. Example, then in heaven, you guys had a soul contract to serve out what was meant to be. Will just keep coming lifetime after lifetime, kind of like the Terminator, or another movie when someone had a hit and rewards on someone that's the strong soul contract, learning from them to finish out and also helping out. And this life will help out that one. For instance, my mom and I worked a lot of our issues out with each other in this lifetime, so in our others we're sharing together will also benefit as well. Basically, like all the work that you do in this time space reality with yourself will help all of your other versions of you playing out. Yes, and I've witnessed that in my own life and others. That's why our karma, our soul contracts, take more than one lifetime to conquer, and we also can choose different as we learn different, which we can still remain out to finish what we set out to do, and also create more to do and more to do in with that. More characters and roles we can change as we go and still be in harmony with our soul contracts. Basically, like you can still finish out your soul contract just in another form and body. Me playing the role of her daughter as well as her sister-in-law as well as her daughter in more than one life doesn't sound too far-fetched, does it, considering we're still co-creating with each other, past, present, and future, and in different lifetimes and different lessons, all combined in some way, shape, or form to somehow, some way fulfill the soul contracts and the new life creations we've put on it, and on all characters as well. If my brother is playing the role as my dad, and that's happening more than we can imagine, no one would be able to live it out fully because we would be hung up on the fact. It's safe to say here that even in knowing, it would be way different in the remembering, you see. Well, if that blows your mind, I understand. Multiple lives make sense to the creation of new souls. I was having a chat with a good old buddy named Fuzz, and he mentioned about how they make so many new souls coming into the world, and that's probably my first thought of more than of the same soul at once, but at the same time, I was only 18. I believed in reincarnation, but though only one at a time, which I think most of us that even think or believe in reincarnation would only think it to be one at a time. But then we'll learn and grow and expand our minds in order to start thinking of a bigger way, or maybe even more common sense way. Really seems we learn our multi-dimensional beings, then it wouldn't make sense that we could even more multi-dimensional. I remember even in the beginning of my spiritual awakening, this still was a mind-opening experience when she had described a friend's same name as her. She had met with her, and she said she could feel that are like it was herself. And of course, there are the moments when you can feel into anyone energies and even feel theirs. But this was different, and I could feel that this could definitely a possibility. And then I received the download on this book. Several years later, as that has grown to be an even more common thought in my mind and not so far-fetched, or so out of my beliefs, I was then able to receive and connect to the download of even more information matching up to this and feeling into the realness of it. For instance, if someone's body was just give out, or for whatever reason, due to weight, age, cancer, etc., so on, whatever the case may be, the soul still wants to be with the family and still has soul contracts to fulfill. So we'll then have to create it's very natural. So say husband's soul and universe knows the future and knows that when he dies, his wife will not remarry, he would then soul could return as her son in an earlier part of their life. Even an unexpected pregnancy could come even after vasectomy. Strange. No affair. He's identical to this person. Souls occupying the same time and space doesn't seem that out there when you start to put things into perspective. Okay, a recap once again. Here we are with dad and son twice now, I believe, have been reincarnated to finish out their soul's contract, and also the new ones they've picked up along the way. You might have witnessed or noticed, say, for example, a son and mom have different relationship due to past life roles. They were husband and wife, so might have a closeness, not a sexual conduct by any means whatsoever. Along with that, say one of her sons is ex-husband, baby daddy, and one is her new husband, all reincarnated. They all had roles and soul contracts which had nothing whatsoever to do with sex, so take that out of your equation. They're playing different roles. Yes, but that doesn't mean that other things could be similar. Even if parents and son were all alive at the same time, you may see this in your family. The two humans with the same soul, they might have conflict or a certain feeling for one another. We all have came across a person and we've said, feels like I've known you my entire life, more than once. Well, you probably have known them for many lives. Your granddaughter could be you. Once you tap into this, it seems as though I don't really know how many people or roles I could be playing. Lots of laughs. Wow. Or how could this be will? We all have free will and the choice to, even if you decide to go be with another woman in this life, another part of you will still fulfill out your others as well. What you choose along with your journey. You want to start looking around, see who's playing who and who else you be playing to. Lots of laughs. Once I turned into it, it was like a domino effect for me. Two humans sharing souls might have some conflict, and there may be in some circumstances others will have different depending upon a lot. In some aggressions in the new body or both bodies could occur. The one leaving and the one staying, it's not understood by other humans or people watching it, will usually get the comments like, it's because they're just too much of the same, or they're too much alike, or other will experience this. The new role and body and old role and body in the same space and time and trying to communicate data to one another, but the data conflicts with belief systems they're both carrying around with the both of them, almost like two people fighting over what they believe, except it's the same soul fighting with itself and the program beliefs are not matching up. That's where the conflicts and it's conflicts and no surrendering, which in this case having yourself coming to you and a child to try and tell you to and try and teach you through energy that your energy does not match up to, yet conflict, kind of like we do with our inner beings now. Our inner being knows that you're abundant and knows you have access to more money than you could ever spend or circulate, I like to say, but we don't believe it, so it takes us out of alignment. Perfect. Chapter 8 is next. How am I writing this book?